Hi everybody. So my name is Miranda. I am a career business and academic coach, and I want to talk to you guys today about putting together a resume. I am a certified professional resume writer. I've written resumes for thousands of people throughout my career in all stages of life. And most people at some point or another are going to need a resume, whether it's for a job, a graduate school application, or for volunteering on a board or being part of an organization. You'll need some kind of resume. So oftentimes people come to me who haven't had a resume in years or maybe have never had a resume. A lot of times these people are people that are just getting out of school, or you've owned your own business for years, you haven't had to apply for a job, but now you're looking to do some consulting, or you're looking to serve on a volunteer board, so you have to put together a resume. And these people will ask me, what things should I assemble before I start the process? And I think that that is a great question, because just like doing your taxes, which is something that I absolutely hate to do, it's a lot harder to write a resume if you don't have the right information in front of you. And if you have to pause every few minutes to go try to find the right information, the process can be really frustrating, when writing a resume should actually be something that's kind of fun. I mean, I know that it seems like really difficult and frustrating, busy work for a lot of people, especially those who don't like to write. And I will come clean and say, I've been a writer since I was in the second grade, when I wrote my first book of poetry using a piece of cardboard box as the cover and the back cover of the front cover and the back cover of the book. So I do enjoy writing, but I will say that even if you don't, writing your resume should be something enjoyable that you get to do, to reflect on all of the things you've done. And it could be really instrumental in helping you to understand what your strengths are and how you might use those strengths to benefit others and to improve your own situation, whether that be in terms of job, business, or academia. So let's get into the actual meat of this. What kind of information do you need to assemble? Well, number one is, if you do have an old resume, no matter how old it is, that's the first thing that you should have with you, because it can help give you those crucial dates and locations and company names that you may have forgotten over the years. Now, a resume should only go back about 10 to 15 years, but of course it depends on what you're putting it together for. If it's a grad school application, or if it's something for a volunteer board, older experience might really be relevant. So having that old resume is helpful. If you don't have an old resume, a form, many people have, many resume writers or resume organizations have forms that you can fill out that prompt you to get that basic information, because that's really what you need to start the resume. I have one of those for you as well. So if you don't have an old resume and you'd like a form to help get started writing your resume, I can definitely provide that for you. So just leave me a comment or send me a message, and I'll get that over to you. So the second thing is that you want to gather any letters of recommendation that you may have. Now, I do recommend keeping files or copies of your letters of recommendation that you get throughout your career. If you don't have those and you remember who wrote you letters of recommendation, go ahead and get those and ask those people if they have a copy to send them to you, and find a place, digital or otherwise, to keep your letters of recommendation, so that in the future you can review them. If you don't have any letters of recommendation, well, now's a great place to start asking for them. You may not have a specific place where you want people to send those yet, but having those can really help you in your resume creation process, as well as in the completion of other documents that are related to your professional success. So when you know that someone would write you a positive letter of recommendation, ask for that, or a review if you're in business works as well. Okay, so the next thing that you want to gather is your portfolio of experiences. You might say, I don't actually have a portfolio. Well, again, there's no time like the present. Gather some examples of projects you've worked on and deliverables that you've made. If you're a photographer, gather some of your best photographs. If you're a writer, gather some of your best pieces of writing. If you are doing any type of work, just kind of keep a log of. A portfolio might be nothing more than a log of some of the projects that you've worked on, but gather some of those specifics, because they are going to be important in writing your resume, and they're going to be important in other aspects of your professional development as well. Next is your LinkedIn or your social media anywhere. Any kind of comments, reviews, or positive interaction interactions you've had can be helpful in writing your resume. So if you're using social media a lot, especially LinkedIn, and you've got positive recommendations, positive comments, positive reviews, examples of people saying good things about you, grab some of those and bring them with you. The next thing would be any type of evaluation that you might have had from an employer, professor, any type of independent review that you may have had in some of the volunteer work that you've done. Having those can be really helpful in terms of getting your getting examples of the good things that you've done. So professional or performance reviews, evaluations, those things are really good to bring to the resume writing process. Next would be certifications that you might have, or degrees, training, examples of those things. Again, you could actually bring the certification to your resume writing area, or you can just take a few minutes and write down a list of the certifications that you have. Take the time to research if they expire and what year you got them and that kind of thing. And then also if you're coming out of school recently, school projects that you have worked on, in terms of your papers that you've written, PowerPoint presentations you've done, any kind of practical lab work that you may have done and gotten comments from your instructor on, that can be helpful as well if you've been in school recently, or if your next step is going to be more in line with what you went to school for than what you've been doing recently. Next would be any type of awards that you've received. Again, you can actually get the certificate, or you can just write down the award you received. And recognition works too. Recognitions like maybe you were in the paper for something, or you were recognized at a meeting for achieving something. That kind of recognition, formal or otherwise, is good to have on your resume. And publications, if you have any publications, those could be social media or internet publications, or maybe you contributed to a journal or something like that. Those are good things to have as well. Some people say, well, my publications aren't relevant to my work, and that you may or may not want to list those, but it's great to have them all when you're working on your resume. And then lastly would be your transcripts, if your education is relevant to what you're seeking to do next. And even if it's not, there's a certain degree of transferability in almost every educational endeavor. So that's it. That's the list. I know that sounds like a big list. And remember that these things are not going to apply to everybody. So if they don't apply to you, that's okay. Just get what you can. But like I said before, in writing your resume, it's really important to have that information that you need before you get started, so that you don't have to keep stopping and starting. So whatever information on this list applies to you, get it together, and then you can start the process of writing your resume. Or if you need help with that, again, I'd love to talk with you more about it. And you can send me a message, or you can leave a comment, and I'm happy to help. Or if you know other documents that would be helpful, please go ahead and leave a message and let me know which documents those are. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day, and best of luck on your resume writing project. Bye.